Testing. Oh, I think I fixed it. Testing, testing. Looks like it's loud enough. Ugh, I don't know why it does stuff like that. I should have checked. Hopefully you can hear now. Explain to me why. It looks like it just went to like default. And I don't know why it would just randomly go to default. The OBS Studios instead of staying at the settings it's supposed to stay on. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for letting me know. How long was I yapping for? Okay, how long has this video even been on? Anyway, I apologize. Okay, so what was I talking about? Parade of Planets. Okay, so basically, in a really short version, I was saying that I don't remember it being easy to see Jupiter with the naked eye, but I actually can really see it now, and you can see him up there. It's next to Mars, apparently, and it's quite bright. Like, I would say it is as bright as when Venus first showed up. That's how bright it is. And that's ridiculous. And, of course, this whole Parade of Planets thing, some super rare thing happens like once a month now at least, and this is this week's one. Yeah, I don't watch, I guess Stardew Valley, it's some kind of video game. I don't play it, so I don't really know on that one. I mean, anything that I'm heavily familiar with, I do start to notice Mandelas these days. So I think pretty much there's just Mandelas all the time. I mean, some of them I'm like really, really sure of, too. Okay. And Shari was talking about upside down fish. Let me see if I can change this to live chat. All right. Upside down fish. I'm going to write Parade of Planets on here, too, so I don't forget to put that. Parade of... There's something about my writing that when I try to write fast, I actually just write slower because I suck. Okay. Pizza is on the way. Yes. Where's my pizza? Send some from Australia. No, Dark Wolf, you have to admit that you eating pizza is probably not a rare event. We could cut glass underwater. All right. I'm going to get to that upside down fish, but let's get here before I forget. What? What? No, wait a minute. Nuh-uh! Oh my God, nuh-uh. The Rehbinder effect. What? Okay. So I can just stick glass underwater and like cut it with a scissor? There's another Rehbinder effect. Well, why should I even use the drill bit if I can just poke freaking holes? The heck? New day, new so. What? No way. Okay. All right, maybe this one I haven't. Here's the thing, okay? Like, I have played around with cutting glass. I've looked up how to cut glass. Believe me, when I spent a lot of effort finding the easiest possible way to cut glass because I don't like to work any harder than necessary. And I have literally never heard of this business. I want to say something else, but okay. So it's the Rehbinder? The Rehbinder effect. All right, I'm definitely writing that. This is actually potentially useful to me for cutting glass. I would really like to know if I can just get out a scissors and trim glass. Now that's pretty thin looking glass, but still, come on, people. I mean, like, I can only assume that you couldn't cut like really thick glass, at least not yet, but still. All right. Like, why have fancy glass grinders and fancy drill bits and the Rehbinder effect, however you say it, A Rehbinder effect is a reduction in hardness and ductility of a material, particularly metals, by a surfactant film. By a surfactant film. Are they saying that water is a surfactant film? Reduces the strength of the material. I have never heard of this business. I really want to use another word besides business, but I'm trying to be good on my swearing these days. Okay, So you just put some, so a surfactant, that's a fancy word for like soapy stuff, okay? So when you put some soapy stuff and it gets less hard, man, I so want to try that right now. All right, that really does look like... It's not even that thin a glass. It looks like it's like this thick. The heck, man? How to cut a hole in it. So you can just stick the coffee mug underwater and just jam like a nail in it for reals? Because, you know, cutting pottery and stuff would be so easy too then if you could just... I think that's the same thing we already saw, but it's still crazy. This is bizarre. Okay. You know, you caught somebody who does stuff like this, and this is blowing me away because this was not a thing. This was not a thing. Vivian, I saw the video yesterday, very weird, but I swear I saw the same video years ago. I'm sure I've never seen this video. I have to understand that so I have a lot of experience cutting gemstones, like mostly semi-precious ones. But I mean, we cut like volcanic glass and stuff. Now we use water as a coolant, but I've never heard of it actually making it easier to cut. That's crazy. So when we can do volcanic glass. It's obsidian, basically, is naturally occurring glass. I've never heard of any of this. This is insane. I'm telling you, I'm like, holy hangry. The only reason we used water was to keep it cool so it wouldn't overheat and scrape off all of the diamond. I was thinking, Shara, well, you could cut glass out of water, but I see what you mean. When I clicked on that video, I was, in fact, we did usually cut glass with a little bit of water, but that's not why. It's to protect the drill bit. It's not because it's softer. That's crazy. I gotta wonder how much... Like, we wanted to have certain evolution and have, like, flying cars and stuff. And instead of figuring out how to do it with the existing physics, it's just like physics changed to make it easier. So, lately I've been hearing a ton about antigrav. And that's interesting because I was mentioning it myself the last few weeks. I think that might be like the next thing that's phasing in is antigrav with all these drones and stuff. So one of the yammer was that the drones could stay aloft for 10 hours and we don't have the battery power or technology for that. However, if we had an energy efficient antigrav, then we could totally stay aloft in anything much longer, because most of the power that goes into keeping these things, moving these things, is just fighting gravity. Actually, just moving side to side is just a small amount of the power. So, interesting. So, I think now we could saw glass too. I want to look into that. I definitely want to see what neat stuff I can do, because I have some glass at home that I wanted to cut to fit on one of my tables, and we were talking about maybe trying to score it and break it, but then I was afraid we'd break the whole glass. So because if you do it wrong, the whole thing just shatters, and there's a lot of cuts because the table is a weird shape, and then I would have to grind. But now I'm like, well, if we just put it under water, then is it going to be way easier then? I mean, you'd only have to put the end in that you're cutting too. So that one that she had, it looked like just ordinary ding-dong scissors, I mean, what if you got really good scissors? Dang. So we could just get you could just get a glass bottle from beer or something, anything that has a glass bottle, and play with it, and you wouldn't have to worry about ruining anything. That's going to be on my agenda right now. Well, you can just take scissors and go, I'm going to have to try that. I'm so going to have to try that. Can you imagine? I'll just, cut my glass into pretty shapes and stuff. I'm really wondering if there's any tricks to this, if it's a special kind of glass or something, but dang. Do not use my favorite scissors for glass. Too late, Vivian. It's mine. Use pinking shears. If I use pinking shears, is it going to go zigzag, zigzag? If anybody doesn't know what pinking shears is, they're scissors that cuts a zigzag pattern. It's used for fabric, because you want the fabric to not ravel, so that's why it's zigzaggy. Crazy town. Okay. When Shari was talking about the 20th and 21st, I was whacked out yesterday. I was just so, I don't know, spaced out and tired, I would say. I just slept a ton. I just kept taking naps. And then half of today, 3/4 of today was like that. I do feel fairly decent right now, but, so I was kind of wondering if there was some kind of shift or what. Okay, so now we're on the upside down catfish. I'm pretty sure this is the upside down fish that you were referring to. I guess this catfish just chooses to swim upside down, even though there's nothing wrong with it. All right, we don't need to hear you yakking. So there he is. He's kind of cool looking catfish. I used to do aquariums. I'm pretty sure that I would have wanted to have one of these. These are awesome. Looks like a pretty big fish though. But, so what was the story? Let me go back, because the AI had something to say. Wait a minute. Where'd it go? Cynodontis nigriventris. Upside down catfish. Naturally adapted to swim upside down. Evolved to swim upside down as a form of camouflage and to take advantage of food resources that other fish might not reach. They are small, reaching 3.8 inches. Okay. It's not huge, but they have large eyes, large dorsal, and 3 pairs of barbels. Barbels, those are the whiskers. Their pigmentation is unique, with darker bellies and lighter backs, which helps them blend into their surroundings when swimming upside down. Why not just have the color you want on your back instead of I feel like I'm just getting trolled more and more with these beasts. Ooh, it's threatened. Yeah, it's... I just don't believe that stuff anymore. So yeah, it's not sick or anything. These ones just do this. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them now. Most commonly referred to as moco kid catfish, or the blotched upside down catfish. However, a number of other fish may also be known by this name. Asian upside down fish, spotted upside down fish, giant upside down catfish, or squeaker. Okay, so you guys have these all over the place. You guys. Aquarium trade has them. Asia has them. Africa has them. Dwarf upside down catfish is also used for small species of catfish and the Cynodontis. The upside down catfish will swim upside down. Maybe it's a feeding strategy. Here's the thing, okay? Catfish are kind of designed to like be bottom feeders, so their mouth is pointed down. But I've had catfish in my aquarium, and they are perfectly capable of kind of bending around and snatching crap from the top of the water if none are falling down yet. They prefer to get it when it's lower on the ground, but if you just put it down and it hasn't sunk yet, they'll get it. So they don't actually have to swim upside down in order to get that food. Because they're little piggies, those catfish, and they figured it out. Is rosefinch new for anybody? My cat didn't let us sleep for the last 4 days. So I just have the 2 cats that come in here all the time. I think they're in here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. The other little one has decided that the couch is actually super comfy, so he's probably in there where I can't see him. They've been pretty normal, those 2 cats, so I don't know. Chloe had those upside down fish. Well, maybe they come from your timeline. Rose finches. They're beautiful. I don't know. It's hard for me to keep up with all the birds. I don't know if those are common. I mean, like, would I have known that? I think in the old timeline I'd say that's unusual, but now they're not even that big a deal compared to a lot of stuff we have. Yeah, there's an aquarium trade upside down fish, they said, that it's common in the aquarium. That guy was talking about it. Yeah, it used to be if they were upside down or sideways, you're like, that fish is got 1 or 2 or 3 fins in the grave. Pink birds were something very rare. Yeah, you have a point. I've definitely seen red birds tons of times, but I don't really remember seeing rose-colored. They still are saying blue is very rare, but I think it'll show. And maybe that's why this color is rare, because it kind of has a blue tinge to it. See, like even that one seems more common than that one. Oh, well, there's blue. I lied. Oh, yeah, right, because there's those blue and that other, I can't remember the name of that bird. The one they, Gouldian finches, don't they have blue also? Okay, so. Okay, so Twitter can be addictive, as we see. All right, closing you. All right, so I talked about that weird comet last week. I think it was, here's the thing, that was a 2025 one, but this one here is from 2024. So I was thinking it was the 2025 one, but no, this is 2020. So I guess these comets are just like common now. So they're like, oh, which one's going to be brightest this year? So I was looking and like really you could see like that with your naked eye. So here's one that was I thought this was Atlas G3, but when I clicked on it, it was actually Atlas A3 from October 16, 2024. I mean, really, you're going to just see that? So a comet, it's not even in the atmosphere. It's not like it's burning up in the atmosphere. This is outside the atmosphere. I mean, assuming you want to believe the whole story of how everything works. I don't even want to open that can of worms right now. But supposedly, it's outside the atmosphere. And you're seeing this, and I don't think they shoot by that fast, right? It's not like, pew! It's like, it just clacks along, like, slowly, because it's far away. All right, so this was the brightest comet of 2024. And now they're saying, will Atlas G3 be the brightest comet 2025? So this was Atlas A3. I'm like, I don't remember all this Atlas whatevers. I don't know what's going on. How are they naming all these things? Capture the images of G3. So that's like this year's. I'm like totally confused. There's so many cool images of these things. And it looks like a lot of them are just... This is from 2023. It's A3. So, what the hell, people? Let me just open this thing and look at it. And you know what's weird is it kind of looks like there's more in the front. Like, how does that work? Because this is supposed to be the tail. Was it spit in front of it itself, too? Or what? I don't come from this timeline where there were just visible comets all the time. Like, even Hale-Bopp and those, you had to get, like, a telescope or something. You couldn't really see it. You can just stand there and see something like this. I mean, meteor showers, yeah, but not comets. Like, every year, a whole bunch of them. Oh, yeah. Finally got my voice back. Thanks for noticing. So last week I wasn't sick anymore. I didn't, my throat was just not recovered. That's kind of how it works for me. After I kind of kick out the germs, then when my throat's healing, it's actually tight, like more when it's healing usually than during the actual sickness. Sometimes if the sickness is really bad, it'll spread out over both the end of the sickness and after, but this one did follow that pattern, at least for that. I remember you could only see comets when they came close to Earth enough as they... Okay, well, I don't know. I never could see them. That's... Not from, like, the naked eye. That's bizarre. That is so strange to me. I mean, seriously, this? You could just see that? I wonder what Hale-Bopp looked like. Hale-Bopp. Let me just look it up now that I'm wondering. Okay, so, yeah. This... Come on! That's what it looked like? Oh my god. And it had a blue thing on it. Oh, that's crazy. No way! Come on, is that even real? That was not... This is insanity, people. I think I would have remembered if that was visible in the sky. Holy hand grenades. Comet Hale-Bopp over a tree. I would guess maybe this is time lapse. Still, dang. oh man, I'd be like, if I looked up and saw that, I'm glad I learned about this now, because if one of these came and I didn't know you could see them, I'd be like, oh my God, what is that thing? Oh, crazy town. Now, I did predict that painting Starry Night might become real, and I feel like we're like squeaking over in that direction. All right, so that's the moon. Are we going to see like this? I thought, I think I said this before, but for a while there was a comet or something in here, and it's gone now. I do remember seeing one. This thing has changed a lot too. Anyone else notice the fabric store? Joann's is now Joanne. Oh, yes. I think it was actually Joann's with one N for me. One N and one S originally. That would be my... and that is an older Mandela, like from 7 years ago for me. That was much talked about at the time. So for me, when it was the first big wave of people about 7.5 years ago coming in on the Mandela, a lot of stuff that is now we're sort of jaded, by like spelling changes. But when they first kicked in, and people would flip out about them a lot more. And so like if the from like the Home Depot got a the, and it was like, and Joanne changed. And people would really, really, really talk about those. And now I don't, it's almost like, another spelling change. Yeah. So Atlas is everywhere, huh? Atlas. So what does that stand for, Atlas? Now I'm curious. I mean, I know it's a Greek god, but I don't really remember. Oh, yeah, holds up the world. That's right. That's Atlas. Condemned to hold up the heavens or sky for eternity. God, I'm not even sure what that might really mean, that we're seeing that everywhere. Oh, yeah, it might. I do. Joanne's with an E. It might have had an E on it. That does, look familiar now that you say that. No, I'm going to just write it. Hold on. Joanne's. It's probably changed more than once. Joanne is not right, though. That's an older Mandela for me. It is definitely not right. I know there was an S on it. I am absolutely positive there was S. Yeah, what is the blue tail? Hail Bob. Let's just ask. What is the... Why is it got two tails? What is the blue tail on? Hail Bob. Assuming that we can trust the AI at all. Caused by the emission of ionized carbon monoxide molecules. As the solar wind interacts with these ions, it sweeps them into a straight rayed tail that points directly away from the sun. This tail is distinct from the white dust tail, which is composed of small dust particles. Okay, so it's an ion trail smacked off by the sun rays. Like the sun, smacked off by the sun, what? I don't know. Rays, radiation, I guess. Is always directly opposite the sun. So if it's shooting and the sun is not directly in front of it, then the white tail will not line up with the blue tail. This is crazy. I've seen so many pictures of Hale Bopp, and it never had a blue weird freaking tail. I actually should put this as the thumbnail. And I might change the thumbnail because this is actually really interesting. Open image. Look at that image is the perfect size too. Oh, it's a web file. Forget it. I'll have to find a different one. That's super interesting though. Hale-Bopp has blue tail. Good find. I guess that was me. Good find, Eva. Yeah, even Joanne's is starting to suffer because of online purchases, I think. It's just so easy if you don't need something right away to just buy it online and have it show up in a couple days. Especially if you know exactly what you want. Sometimes I don't know exactly what I want and I want to go touch it and see, but... Sally's Beauty. Yes, Sally's Beauty. Sally's used to be, has an S too, because I used to shop there some back when I started my home business. I used to sell the hair feathers and I would go there and look for clips and stuff. Yeah, so it has a blue tail. Hale-Bopp's always had a blue tail. Let me see. Hale-Bopp. All I did was stick it in. I'm not going to even put the blue word in there, and we'll see. I think they're almost all going to have. Yeah, almost all. So this one here, probably the sun was right in front of it because it looks like the blue. Or maybe it's just, let me see. Yeah, the blue's not real prominent on there, but almost all of them have it. And I've seen so many images of it. No, that's a rocket launch. I've seen so many images. There's no freaking way. Did you really see it like that? You can even see the blue tail. So I can see it a little bit here, the blue. This is crazy town. So other comets also should be able to get this. So it's carbon dioxide makes it blue. So I guess other chemicals then would make it other colors. So now we can basically get all these different colors coming in. Look at that. Almost all the images have it. Unless it's like a far away. Even this one, you could see it some. Ah, got the hiccups. Craziness. This is so wrong. Okay. Yeah, I'm probably going to change it to that image because that image is way more cool even than the one I found. So it's not a Mandela if the thumbnail changes like tonight. Victoria's Secret. Is it back to... Oh, I think that's a flip-flop, right? It's back to Victoria's Secret. But now it has a apostrophe. That's a flip-flop for me. It was always Victoria's Secret, but now apostrophe. And then for a while, it was like, everybody's freaking out because it was Victoria Secret. And then the S came back, but it got an apostrophe with it. And that was even a few years ago, I think, where the S came back. Famous comets with color. Let's see. Comets. What else can we find? Hale-Bopp was kind of famous, and that's why it suddenly occurred to me that if all these other boring comets were bright, then what did Hale-Bopp have to look like? Comets with... Spell it right. Color. Comets can exhibit various colors due to their composition. Aha! Aha! Comet C 2022 E3 ZGF, known as the Green Comet, was visible in early 2023. Green color attributed to the diatomic carbon and cyanide. Atlas 2024 displayed color for tails, including a central white dust tail and ion tails that appeared red, blue, and green. Oh, we have rainbow comets now. Comet Lovejoy was known for its greenish hue. The green color was all of the same diatomic carbon and cyanide molecules. The color of a comet is influenced by the composition of its coma and tails. It's comma. So what is that? Comma is that ion thingy? I've never... Why it's comma? Okay, what is the comma of a comet? Yeah. See, it knows I'm going to ask that. What's the comma of a comet? The bright hazy cloud of gas and dust that surrounds the comet's nucleus. It forms as the comet approaches the sun, causing the frozen gas to evaporate and spread out. It appears as a fuzzy glowing ball around the nucleus. As the comet moves closer to the sun, the comet expands and becomes more prominent, contributing to the comet's distinctive appearance. Okay, so it was a third thing. It's apparently as it gets near the sun, it all just glows. It gets big and okay, whatever. The comma is the nebulous envelope around the nucleus of comet. Okay, so I don't know. Does the ion tail have a fancy name, or is it just ion tail? Oh, see, look, here's one that's green with purple. Comet Lovejoy is a long-period comet discovered in 2011. It's green with a pink tail. This is such a scam. Okay, Comet Lovejoy. Is that why it was named that now? I think that's the one they said it had different colors. So it's green and blue here in this one. Here is green and purple. Why is it all ziggy zaggy like here? That's weird. So the sprays aren't like normal on this one either. It's all ziggy zaggy. Okay, it's white on that one. This is such a scam. Oh, there's no way. There is no way. Okay. You know, I thought I didn't have any big Mandelas, but you guys are helping me out, and then I fell onto this one. Check out Halley's Comet. Oh, yeah, that's that other favorite one. Okay. Halley's. There was a weird noise. I thought an earthquake might be coming. Okay. It was that kind of weird noise. When you live in California, it's like every now and then there's a noise and you're like, is that the noise of an oncoming earthquake, or is it just like a big truck or something? And it's sometimes hard to tell. Okay. Halley's looks like it has a bunch of this weird blue business going on. Derp, derp. There's no way I would have missed this. All of these comets, multiple ones, have this weird stuff. They're all How come I never saw one of these? I should be able to see one soon if there's this many of them now. All right, that is not a real image. Halley's Comet was what it used to be called, and then at some point, some time ago for me, becomes Halley's Comet. You know what's interesting is there's a bunch of people in the subreddit Retcon that apparently just got to this timeline recently, and they are saying, like, what in the F? South America used to be underneath North America like 6 months ago. They're like, I just saw it and it was normal 6 months ago. So for me, this stuff's been changing gradually for the last 7 or 8 years. And even when it was pretty actively moving, it took a couple years. So this interesting to me that there's like these latecomers to the timeline. But it seems like all the latecomers, whatever's going on, they're late compared to the majority of us anyway, they go through the changes a lot faster than I went through them. It's almost like you're late, so you got to catch up or something. So, I mean, that would be even crazier than my experience. So, you know, good luck, guys. I'm like, jeez. Plus, you're not coming in with a big wave of us, so there's less talking to be done. You know, there's not as many people to talk with. Because a lot of us, we've been doing this for 7-8 years, and it's like, I'm kind of tired of... I'm not going to say I'm tired of it. I don't have the high level of, like, the insanely high level of interest that I once had. I mean, it's still something I think about every day, but... All right, so Halley's... We do have some, like, pink going on... No, that's Orion. No, formed by Halley's Comet. That's Orionids? Orion. What the heck is Orionids? All right. Halley's Comet facts. You know, I'm getting lazy, so I'm just going to, like, let the AI tell me. So I would need to go here. Returns every 74 to 79 years. I thought it was every 75 years. Now it's 74 to 79. Last observed in 86. I don't think you could see that with the naked eye, though. It was like, at least you needed binoculars or something. Develops a tail of gas and dust when it is close to the sun. Doesn't say what color. It did not answer the color I wanted. It appears white and bluish white as it approaches the sun. The surface is mostly black, reflecting about 4% of the light. Tail color appears white. The reflected gases that come off the comet as it approaches the sun appear bluish white. Okay, so Halley's is a lot like Hellbop. I don't even want to check the post about old MEs anymore. Yeah. Finger limes have a pulp that resembles caviar. Resembles finger limes, caviar. I don't know. That doesn't really sound good. I do suspect we'll get plants that have all the meat flavors. Alright, I'm just writing that down. Finger limes. Oh, they're like fingers. All right, it's in Australia. Okay, Jackie was the one who saw it, so you won't be shocked. Yeah, this kind of, yeah. I've not seen that before. Finger lime. I don't know. I hope it tastes better. I'm not a big fan of caviar, to be frank. It just tastes like salty slime to me. I don't really get... I really have to wonder if people who eat caviar are just pretending to like it because it's posh and expensive. Huh. Well, they really do look like little. So what? Each one has its own color? I mean, okay, so they're limes. I think if you slapped some sugar on them, they'd be all right. Or if you took that one, if you ate one of those fruits that makes the acidic stuff taste sweet, then it would be good. Miracle berry. Eat a miracle berry, then eat some of these. Okay, I can see this texture being okay on like if a orange had it, I'd be all right with it, because they do kind of have those little vesicles and stuff, and then they're just like juicy middles and stuff. All right, let's see what anything has to say. Finger limes, citrus caviar, to top chefs worldwide. This is a load. No, the unique finger-sized pieces of citrus fruit are probably more familiar to our friends down under in Australia, from where they originate. The small round from pearls of pulp. So, Jackie, have you ever heard of this business, since it's well known in Australia? Finger limes. 4 ounces, $20. Well, they aren't that cheap. I'm not a big fan of limes, but if I put sugar on them, or I ate the miracle berry, I probably could enjoy them. Oh, so you remember 70 years for the Comet. Interesting. I remember it was this, I am quite sure it was just a set number of years. There wasn't like a range. Like it just comes around when it feels like it now, I guess. Could it be they just wake into the reality? That's why they can see it now. But they go through the same stuff that that we did, like the gradual changeover. It's not like suddenly there it is. It was like the stuff is sneaking along like bit by bit, same as us, but faster. They had to get the fast forward version. I don't know. I just find, I mean, maybe, and I'm trying to put it together. Okay, so they awaken to the reality, but we also awaken to the reality. I don't know anybody who awakened to the reality when I started that went this fast. Like, there was nobody who said that was just so different like a couple months ago. We all kind of went at this certain rate. So it's a little bit weird to me that it just seems like all the new people all went much faster. Same Mandela's. Like, Jackie is kind of an example. Like, you know, she'll be like, it just changed for her. And for me, that was like 6-7 years ago. Now she's kind of caught up, and it just seems like she's going more at my rate. The rate I'm currently moving at now that she's caught up. It just seems like the others are doing that too. And I'm not, like, is there a reason that it took them longer to wake up and then they wake up 10 times faster? There should be some people who are in the middle, right? They're still waking up at the rate that I woke up at. So that's why that one just kind of confuses me. It kind of fits on the thing, like there's a timeline split and you have to get over here on this one. Maybe the last few people are jumping onto this one before there's a big split. It kind of jives with that a little bit more. I don't want to say I know for sure that's what's happening, but the skin of the real caviar is so delicate it bursts in your mouth, and the taste is heavenly. You know, maybe I just have defective taste buds, but I don't know. I mean, like, I tried some caviar and it just tasted like salt. I could see that the texture might be interesting, but I just didn't really. It just tasted like salt water and kind of fishy salt water, maybe. And, you know, it's not like I have weak taste buds. On most things, I can taste stuff very well. As long as I'm not, like, sick or something. Can someone explain why 2 astronauts are stuck up there and can't come back? Supposedly, last I checked, the ship that took them up there had some weird problem, and it was a Boeing ship. And they probably shouldn't have went ahead and took them up there, but they decided to anyway. But then they decided it wasn't safe to load them back on and take them back on that ship. So then they had to go get... last I heard, they were going to go get SpaceX to do it instead. And that's a whole Mandela, because now people are like, wait, those 2 that are still up there... I don't know, there was a whole thing about which ones were still up there and different ones are coming down. And so I don't know, because I just wasn't watching it that much, but... So, you know, remember we used to have the space shuttles and stuff, and then for a while we had to rely on Russia to get our astronauts back and forth, and it's all weird. I mean, they used to say that if you stayed up there too long, you would get, like, sick and your bones would get all brittle. And now suddenly it's not that big a deal and people stay up there for a year. Some people still just noticing Monopoly guy never had a monocle. I know! I feel the same way about olives. They are awful to me, but everybody else loves them. I'm not a huge fan of olives either, frankly. I mean, like, if I'm in polite company, I could eat all of those. I could eat the caviar and I could eat the olives, but especially with caviar, you know, when you're at a dinner table and you don't want to go, bleh, your food sucks, so you just eat it. You know, I could do it. It's not that bad, but I actually feel bad eating caviar because it's expensive and I'm not even enjoying it. I'm just like, give it to somebody who likes it, because it's ridiculous for me to be eating expensive stuff and I'm not even enjoying it. Why did they have Santa Claus hats? You know, there's so much weird stuff about the feeds from the ISS, but actually people did have a potential explanation that those hats could have been up there for a long time. Brought up by like other travelers and stuff. The only thing I would say though is then there should be record of other visitors up there also wearing them, because I don't see how they would, you know, or maybe somebody else, you know, so that could be it. I think it's a little bit of a stretch, but also somebody was saying that they regularly blast up supplies. Even like separately, there's separate trips with supplies, and they don't have as high as safety standards for those, because if you lose some food and some Santa hats, it's not that big a deal. So I feel like that's somewhat plausible. Yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of sour and bitter stuff. And I think it's because my taste buds are just overreactive for those 2 flavors, especially. So, like, somebody enjoys the bitter, but to me it's overwhelmingly bitter. And so I just like a little tiny bit of bitter, a little tiny bit of sour. That's why I don't like coffee. It's just too overwhelmingly bitter. The Monopoly Man monocle is replaced by a bandit's mask and a pair of dark sunglasses. What? No, wait. Are you not? You're not joking, right? Okay, yeah. There's no bandit's mask yet. Don't mess with me, man. Anything could happen. Yeah, I'm ditching coffee in 2025. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, all these timelines I've been in, none of them have really been able to say there's anything super bad about coffee or caffeine. So that's probably not a priority, other than maybe make some at home and save money and don't go to Starbucks. I don't drink coffee because I don't like the taste. It's not like some, health thing or anything. I can't take any credit for it. I actually think that coffee smells good, but then it just doesn't taste good. Been to wine tastings, not impressed. I've only recently gotten where I can have any appreciation at all for wine. Did he always have a bow tie? I feel like he had a bow tie, but I don't think it was red now that I'm really looking at it. I don't know what that is. That is not right. I don't think it was red. I'm really suspicious about that red. I think it might have been like white. He wasn't that colorful. Actually, I'm looking at the blue highlights on the hat, and that's a little suspicious. Basically, that's a blue hat now. Because this one, you could just say it's highlights, but then when you get to here... So he basically has a blue hat, which started as highlights. This looks better, but... yeah, he has a blue hat, and that's not right. When I'm looking at it, no. He was boring in my timeline. He was black and white. And was he gray? I think he might have had black pants, too. I wouldn't swear to it, but I'm a little suspicious even of the gray pants. Everything colorful now. Yeah, I mean, if you like coffee, I would just make it at home. You're going to save a lot of money. So wine, yeah, I now can appreciate some red wine, but I don't like a lot. I think I could do a tasting because you're only just taking a couple sips. Just don't give me a whole bunch. Actually, I've never been to one, so I assume you're only taking a couple sips. And I think it might be fun to kind of understand the different flavors better. He was black and white. Yeah, he was black and white. Was it all black? I think he had a white shirt. It was the boring old classic look, No blue hat, no red tie. Who has a red bow tie? That's crazy town. All right, so Monopoly Man has blue hat. They're actually showing up some good Mandelas. Has blue hat and red bow tie. I'm going into day thinking I'm not going to have many exciting ones. And look what happened. All right. Not you, not you. All right, this one Jackie found. It's not really a Mandela because it's new, but the whole thing that Neanderthals are now like some kind of Zen guru geniuses instead of like idiots used to be such an insult. So apparently now they found this, what are they calling that thing again? Workshop, 60,000-year-old Neanderthal workshop found in cave. And apparently they had a special fire pit that they think was used to create birch tar. The sticky substance acted as glue, binding sharp tools to wooden shafts, turning them into lethal spears. So in my ancient days, I was taught that the way that they would bind stuff was to use tendons, like when you're yank the tendons out of the animals you kill and then wrap those around the sphere. And then also if you cut the wood so it's kind of a V thing, and then the stone tip goes into the V, and then you wrap it really tight with tendons and they kind of dry and just hold. That was the way they did it. So I've never heard of this birch bark business. Contained layers of charcoal, ash, and tiny tar crystals. Nearby, 2 pieces of flint were found encased in birch tar, clear evidence of the Neanderthals' advanced crafting skills. Then they replicated the setup in the cave and attempted to use it to produce tar, and after some faddling around, they were able to effectively use the setup for making birch tar. The modern humans, that is. So I guess they have workshops now. Paleontologists, geologists, cosmologists are all full of crap as far as I'm concerned. You know, I almost don't blame them at this point, because I think reality is changing faster than they could ever keep up with anyways. I mean, can you imagine you write like a whole thesis on Neanderthals, and then next week they just all this stuff shows up in your timeline that wasn't there before? I mean, like, I am so glad that nothing I do super requires me to be on top of all the latest, because it would be stressful. ZZ Top have shorter beards. Ooh, okay, let me check this out, because I do remember their beats. ZZ Top. Dang, how do you spell that? Was it a space or no space? ZZ. There was a space. I'm not sure on that one, so I'm not saying it's a Mandela. Oh, no. Oh, no. The heck, man? Wait. I don't remember somebody having a yellow one. Okay. Yeah, okay, let's look at younger years. What? That guy's is also... He doesn't even have one? Wait a minute. They all had huge stinking beards. All three of them. There wasn't like two. Oh, they were ridiculous. The beards just went. They just went. They were down to like their stomach. And they weren't all like snippy. Like you could see they never snipped. And they were full. There was none of this like split. What? No. And a lot of them, this guy doesn't. What? All right. I definitely agree with you. There's something awry here. Here, I thought there wasn't going to be any strong Mandelas. Younger years. No. Okay, let me think. 1980s. 1980s. One of them doesn't even have a beard in the 80s. That's not right. That is not right. That is not right. I very specifically remember this one video when they were all lined up and they all had these huge beards. Now this guy is getting close here, but now this guy, what's up with him? And they panned over on the video, like, first this guy's beard, then the... Yeah, no. It's not even... It should be, like, twice as big as that. There was no snippies on the end. They did not snip. They just look like mountain men. This is so wrong. They had endless beards. I actually, now that I think about it, it's actually impressive that 3... different guys were able to produce that level of beards. Maybe they had like extensions in there in the old timeline or something, which probably wouldn't be that hard to do. Clip them in the back. But yeah, this is not right. This is not right. I don't know. I can't find one where they all had beards. No, they had 3. Wait, how many members in ZZ Top? ZZ Top, how many members? Oh, other people asked. 3 members. Billy Gibbons, Frank Beard, and Dusty Hill. Those names. One's a monkey. One's name is Beard and one's a Dusty Hill. The hell? I wasn't a big enough fan to actually know all the names, but I know, I mean, I'm from the MTV generation. I saw them enough time. This is crazy. So apparently somebody has a timeline when there's only 2 of them, huh? That's interesting. All right, I'm adding this in. You have to be old to appreciate this, but only 2 and shorter. Pray for me all. I don't have you. Have additional surgery for torn tendons from dislocated and break and healing. We definitely, prayers go out. I would definitely consider consuming glycine because it's really good for ligament production, and most people are really low on it, so that could definitely help out. They all had beers. Maybe that's yeah. See, I'm not seeing it. I'm not finding one that where they all 3 had it. All right, ZZ Top on MTV. ZZ Top on MTV. Yeah, look at that. It's... This is crazy. They had like these huge, ridiculous beards. I mean, maybe those were fake, but... These ones look like healthier too, frankly. They had this beard that just went on, and there was a couple of coloration changes in them, and they look very like gray-haired and just... Dang, look at, they just peter out. Now they were like down twice as long. It was ridiculous. That has a little bit better look, but then when you see from the front, it would just like... So wrong. Alright, I could beat this old horse, but his name is Beard. So that's bugging me because it could be just screen names. Maybe that's not their original birth names. And I didn't know what they were before. But why is one named after a monkey and one's named Beard? I mean, it just... You can't make this stuff up. Where is the real ZZ Top? Alright, let's see. Shari's got this video. Alright, we got to make sure sound is off because I'll totally get copyright striked. Alright, let's get over to where they start singing. Dang, none of this video is familiar. I certainly remember the song. If there's 3 members, where did the other one go? I only remember videos where all 3 of them were together. Maybe they had to leave this one out because he doesn't have a beard anymore. Alright, there's the... Oh, this is so wrong. I don't remember this. I don't remember any of these clips. Maybe this one. I do remember a zoom in on the ZZ logo. That is one thing I do remember. Yeah, 3 beards. No, there was definitely 3 though. 3 with 3 long beards. 30 seconds to Mars is now 30. Oh, okay. I'm not sure on that one. Sorry. I'm not disputing it. I'm totally not. But for me, there was 3 beards. For you, there was 2 beards. Now there's 2 beards and 1 non-beard. I don't know who plays the drums. All I know is there was 3 bearded dudes in the videos. This is what I will tell you. It was impressive because where do you scrape up 3 dudes with massive, stupidly huge beards? I mean, that alone was just interesting. Frank Beard plays the drums. So, I mean, I think you could have a band where you just hire somebody to do the drums, like whoever's around or something. And so they could be like not a real permanent member of the band and not. So, I mean, I think it's doable. I don't want to say it's I mean, certainly there's bands that just have 2 main members in them. His name is Beard, so technically it's still 3 beard guys. I know. I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, is his name really, was his birth name Beard? Because that would just be too strange. Like a super troll event. ZZ Top members. Okay, let me get that name again. Mr. AI, please cough it up. Oh, yeah, Dusty. Okay, Bill Gibbons. These are later guys, I would assume. Frank Beard. Drummer Frank Beard. No. All right. Beard was born in Frankston, Texas. I'm trying to see if he's had a different name, but it doesn't look like it. Beard began spending a blah. Okay, got addicted to cocaine and heroin. Beard was long known as, ironically, the only member of ZZ Top to not have a beard, but he grew a short one in 2013. This is not true at all. I'm sorry. I do not accept this as a fact. This is a troll. You know what, it bugs me because I didn't know their names before. It was just ZZ Top for me. And so, was his name always Beard? This is such a troll. Was his name Beard in the other timeline, though? Now it's bugging me. Sybil Shepherd has 2 L's, and yeah. You know, it's gotten to, like, the spelling changes and the name changes is like, yeah. It's almost expected. If there were 3 guys, why were there only 2 guys in the live shows in Germany? I don't know. ZZ Top in Germany. All right, let's see. ZZ Top in Germany. In 1980, I assume we're talking about. Now it looks like, wait. That is a 19 Germany. In 1980 Germany, I think. This must be the time he grew a short beard. They said he grew a short beard once. Is that really 1980? Alrighty, 2 guys. And there's somebody on drums, though. So... Mr. No Beard Beard is on drums. So all 3 of them were there. Daniel Steele is now no E at the end. Yeah, that was a big one. What, a year or 2 ago? People, no, even maybe a little longer, people were flipping out about that. I do agree it looks weird without the E. Mini Me, 3rd member Beard. Yeah, I mean, so there's times like this when I just feel like reality is trolling so hard. Okay, I've never heard of this either. Let's see, Jackie, you found this one, right? This one, so they're saying now that there's this bird that went extinct and then re-evolved itself, and the new version looks the same as the old version. The Aldabra. The name kind of reminds me of Abracadabra somehow. But instead of Abracadabra, it's Aldabra. The Aldabra rail, known as Cuvier's rail, is a flightless bird found out in Aldabra atoll in the Seychelles. This bird is unique because it has evolved flightless twice due to special environmental conditions. Around 136,000 years ago, the Aldabra atoll was submerged underwater. So there's weirdness number 2. I guess the atolls just kind of submerge and then re-emerge, leading to extinction of the flightless Aldabra rail. Like, how did they even know it was there then if it submerged underwater? Did they find, like, fossils on the atoll after it pushed back up? I mean, how, if it went down, you would think that all of the whatever was on the top washed away over the course of 100,000 years. So how would they know that there used to be an Aldabra rail on there? The white, okay, 20,000 years, okay, after 20,000 years, the white-throated rail, a flying relative of the Aldabra rail, repopulated the island over time. These birds evolved into the flightless Aldabra rails again due to the absence of significant predators and competing mammals on the island. We have to really wonder, maybe they just screwed up in their fossil records or something. But how did they know what was on that island before it submerged? The Aldabra rail is the only surviving flightless bird in the western Indian Ocean, making it a significant species, blah, 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 blah. This is supported by both genetic and fossil evidence. Where did they find the fossils at? Because if the whole island was like submerged, and they're saying this is really rapid evolution. Proof of evolution. Okay, whatever. Never even heard of this. You would think that this would be like the talk of the town in the evolution world. So the argument, as I understand it, is that if there is a certain environment, it will tend to, over time, lead to the development of certain animals like over and over again. Because that is the perfect animal for that environment. I guess if there's no predators, you don't really need to fly. Maybe you save your energy for like fattening up and egg production and stuff. So that's the theory I think they're trying to promulgate there. I just find it highly unlikely that this was always in the timeline and I'm just hearing about it now because, you know, stuff like this tends to be the, like, tent poles of a theory when there's something unusual like this. I watch a lot of Gunsmoke, and I started noticing about 3 weeks ago they were calling each other Sidebuster constantly. I only knew that term from cartoons. I've never even heard that term, Sidebuster. Die Hard is not Die Hard in the US. Die Hard, that movie, is Die Hard with a capital T. I think there's no space, though, right? Die Hard. Which actually doesn't make a ton of sense, but Die Hard. Die Hard. Yeah, I guess there's a space. Anyway, yeah, that's how it was. It was Die Hard. Then there's Die Hard with a Vengeance. That was the next one. Speaking of movies, this one showed up on Redcon, and I do agree with it. It was Shurikanthus 8415. And then Jackie also mentioned it like a day later after this person mentioned it. So I remember The Mask, the famous movie The Mask by Jim Carrey, that there was The Mask 2, and it was also Jim Carrey. And I remember seeing some of it. Now, I wasn't a humongous fan of The Mask, but it was an overall amusing movie. I mean, it was worth seeing. It was kind of funny. I thought. That I was kind of felt done with it by the time The Mask 2 came out, but I do remember seeing some clips of it when it showed up on cable or something, and it was definitely Jim Carrey, and The Mask had changed a little bit in how it looked, but it kind of just looked like, I watched a little bit of it, and I was like, I watched the transformation, and it was like, yeah, I've been there, done that, and I really just didn't watch the rest of it. But I know I saw it, and I remember it said it was The Mask 2, and I know it wasn't The Mask 1, because I'd already seen that. I actually saw that like twice, because other people wanted to watch it, and it was just on all the time. So, like, apparently there was never a Mask 2 now. And there was one called Son of the Mask, which I have never heard of. Okay, maybe I wouldn't have heard of it. But it was not by Jim Carrey. Son of the Mask did not have Jim Carrey in it. So that's can't be it because it was Jim Carrey. It was Jim Carrey. And so apparently he never did a sequel. So that's... it seems like there's more missing stuff lately. And that would be one of them for me. There was a Mask 2. Let me just make sure. I never really vetted that. But nobody disputed it. Mask 2. That's probably going to end up... refers to Son of the Mask. No. Likely refers to Son of the Mask. The Mask 2 is a canceled film! And the canceled sequel to the adaptation of The Mask. I was scared for a minute because I'm like, oh, I'm wrong and I'm stupid. But no, canceled. So they did plan one. Jim Carrey decided not to reprise his role. Having experience with Ace Ventura, which, while successful, got poor reviews, this led to the unfortunate cancellation of The Mask 2. After the sequel's cancellation, Mask, the animated series... Okay, I don't know about that one. In 2005, a standalone sequel, Son of the Mask, was released. Did not have Jim Carrey. Okay, so in this timeline, Jim Carrey declined The Mask 2. I wonder what the plot unknown. Dang. Bruce Lee's Game of Death movie, The Missing Scenes. I feel like every movie has like different scenes in it. I've seen a lot of changes in Star Wars. Yeah, I know. We're not getting... there are things I might get confused on, but I know, like, Jim Carrey wasn't... Let me see who was in The Mask 2. I mean, Son of the Mask. Son of the Mask. Son of the Mask. Just a laughable name. What did that guy look like? So what, there was a kid... The kid? There was a kid that put on the mask? No. That is so wrong. Come on. Okay, so I guess they had enough video editing skills. Alright, that might be the animated version. Let me just even see what happened in there. So there's no way. That is not the movie I saw with a kid. I thought maybe they meant son, like an 18-year-old or something, but... an inspiring animator whose child is born with the powers of the mask. Born with the powers of the mask. It co-stars Alan Cumming as Loki, who Odin has ordered to find the mask. Oh, this is so not it. So the one I saw was a lot like the first Mask. It was just more of that kind of hijinks where the mask is put back on and stupid crap happens. Like, it's like the first one, you know? It was more of that. In Fringe City, the real mask is found in a river by a dog named Otis. This is all confusing. Okay, bizarre. I've never heard of any of that. So there was never a Mask 2 now. There was only Son of Mask. Son of the Mask is the name of it. So you could call it a Mask 2 because it was a second movie, but it was never called Mask 2. So in my timeline, it was called Mask 2. Never heard of Son of the Mask. Oh, yeah, they always say it's confusing. I get it. The thing is, I think it's just easier for people to assume that they have a really bad memory than to think that the reality is magically changing. And frankly, I don't blame them for that. And I think it's just more comforting to think that people are confused. So they come in with that assumption, and then sometimes they can come up with kind of a likely story. At least it's plausible enough that you got confused. But sometimes they can't. And the story that they'll scrape up is like ridiculous. And then it's really infuriating for me because that is like stupider than thinking reality has changed. But Fists of Fury. I actually remember Fists of Fury for me. I'm quite sure of that. So I think it just, they are different in different timelines, and then one of them gets picked. And that's one of the reasons why I think that it's convergence of timelines. So I do think it's interesting that there's no Mask 2, but then we got this other movie to kind of fill the void. Jim Carrey changed the spelling of his name, and he's just a lot different in this timeline. Enter the Dragon. Yes, I do remember that one. I don't remember one called Bad Neighbors. The Cable Guy, I remember that. Chinese Commercial, correct? Yeah, those. Bruce Almighty, yes. That was another Mandela. Some people remember Goonies too. I have a vague memory of that, but that's not one I would like gamble over. I wouldn't spend $100 on it. Dumb and Dumber, definitely remember that. Wasn't there a Mandela that something about Dumb and Dumber that still existed, right? Dumb and I saw the first one and I absolutely hated it. It's just not my style of comedy at all. But my friend loved it. I would never watch the second one though. Reality doesn't change, you do. Well, if you, I don't think I say that though. I don't think I agree with that. Reality doesn't change. If reality is based on us, then they could both change. I mean, some of these things as well, how are you defining reality? And it's going to depend on your opinions about the creation of reality. So say if everything is a projection into my eyes and the projection is custom for myself, then you could say that I change and therefore I get delivered a different reality. But other people also experience that old reality with me. So there is, unless it's solipsism and none of y'all's exist, then there must be some kind of group common experience that would be called reality. Like say we sit down and watch a movie, you and I, and you could say that that movie is not reality, it's just a movie, but yet we both experience the same movie, right? So there's some kind of objective reality, at least in some ways, in my opinion anyway. All right, Jackie found this one, and this one is some kind of, I guess there's a gajillion blood groups now. So British researchers have discovered a new blood group system named MAL. That does not sound like a good group to have, which solves a 50-year-old mystery surrounding the A and WJ blood group antigen. Blah, blah, blah. The MAL blood group is the 47th blood group system to be identified. So this thing's getting kind of crazy with the blood groups. So there's 47 of them now. You get enough of these and you're not going to be able to get a blood transfusion because there's a billion blood groups and they couldn't find one. That was at the end of last year. Next thing you'll know, they found it the first new blood group in 3 years, and now there's only 523 blood groups. That's probably going to be the next one. All right, here we go. 145. Dang. Anatomy has changed. Yup. Things doesn't change, but your consciousness jumps between parallel dimensions. And it's not even that simple, though, because the change happens sneaky-like. You don't just go from your ribs are this shape to your ribs are that shape. You have all these in between, so it phases in. Whenever possible, it phases in. Now, some things can only be one way or another. Like, either your freeway on-ramp is located near this road or is operated, it's near that road. I mean, it's not as likely to be like scooting along, but a lot of things, when it can be sneaky, it's sneaky. If a rock is going to show up, a big rock is going to show up, it starts out as a small rock, and then it gets bigger every day. It doesn't just go from no rock to big rock. So there's something going on that you don't just see a whole new reality. It's sneaky. One other thing that came into my reality was the forever rose. It is like the forever rose? I don't think I've even heard of the forever rose. Forever rose. Real roses dipped in 24 karat gold. The world's longest lasting rose. Okay, so won't you just have, isn't it just rose-shaped gold with a dead plant inside hidden? Wouldn't that be what that is? I'm kind of confused. Dipped in gold. Okay, so eternity roses. So this is, I think, the gold dipped guys. So it's really, inside there is a dead rose. When you think about that, it's kind of creepy. Forever single rose, 24 petals. All right, what are these eternity roses things? All right, am I finding what you recall as the eternity rose, luxury eternity roses, preserved bouquets? Last a full year or more, offering lasting reminder of cherished moments. This might be it, so they must put something in them that makes them hold. I have not heard of this. Eternity roses. What is an eternity? I spelled it wrong. That's part of the problem. There we go. Real roses undergo preservation process. Typically involve treating the rose with chemical solution, usually a non-toxic silica-based solution, which replaces the natural sap with a preservative. This helps to maintain the original texture and appearance of the rose. Some companies use glycerin and other plant components, ensuring the rose retains their vibrant colors. Huh. It doesn't even sound like it would be that hard to replicate. I mean, you can get glycerin and stuff, and then you put it in a glycerin water. It would probably uptake that. Huh, interesting. Yeah, no, I've never heard of it. Okay, that's something I could have maybe not known about, but... There was a movie where the controllers were making two people meet, but that's long gone. I do remember a movie where there was like these controllers, and it was the reverse though. If you met the wrong, like this guy met the wrong person, and they didn't want those two to be together, so they tried to prevent them meeting again. That was a weird kind of... So these controllers would just like... a door would open and they would just come out of some weird building and... So common in Dubai. Well, Dubai kind of... those places are like the cutting edge of neat but expensive stuff. So I'm not surprised if it was in Dubai. And you have to realize I don't exactly go to florist shops and stuff much, because I'm kind of pretty practical, and You know, I just have to have a lot of money before I threw it away on roses. Like cut roses. Something Bureau. It could be. That was a movie that I just saw bits of on one year and then other bits of, and then Bruce Lee, though. Yeah. Yeah, Bruce Lee, The Return of the Dragon. I do remember that. And that was a Mandela, right? And it changed? I know there was one of his that changed. It was like Star Wars, there was the Revenge of the Jedi, and it changed to Return of the Jedi. Misremembering. Yep. Always been that way. Misremembering. Yeah, sure. Somebody on Retcon was also talking about this, and they called it the split up Mexico. And I kind of, and I'm glad they said that, because I also remember it being kind of straight across. Mexico wasn't that fat. They just had this kind of straight across line that before you got to Mexico, it wasn't like, and then this kind of was at the end, but it was just a little bit. It wasn't. Mexico's just gotten huge. I'm sorry. or the United States shrunk, but in comparison, it just wasn't that big a freaking country. But they just don't remember this. Like, it's almost split in half now. And I do feel like even just very recently, this has bulged out. So now it kind of bulges, and then it narrows, and then it bulges again. And I don't think this bulgy part was there last time I looked. If you look at it, it looks like it's just chewing in. Like, this part is going to turn blue probably in here. And it's probably going to connect up with Salton Sea over here. And all of this is like filled in here. There wasn't all this farming next to Salton. It's kind of interesting to me because the official reality is that farmers are being put out of business by lack of water and water restrictions. But when I'm actually looking at stuff, I just see like more farming than I recall. And in different places. Thought there was more along the Colorado River, but I don't remember all of this stuff until recently. I mean, literally all this, I don't know. I mean, there might have been some along the roads here, but the way it's all filled in just like massively. And then over here, it's all filling in. Because the Salton Sea just wasn't much of a thing before. It was much smaller. So yeah, that's the thing I wanted to say. So yeah, I think it's going to fill in. Then what is going to happen to all these? Are they going to squeeze out to the side as this fills in? It looks like this is trucking in through here mostly. Look, there's a little patch of water here now. River coming along here. I don't know if these are just going to like, oh, there's a river here also. Just squeeze the parts to the side so a river can cut through, maybe? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. We've seen enough weird. This is interesting because there's all city here, and then suddenly on the other side it's farming again. Yeah, I think this is all going to connect up over here. It looks like that's what it's working on. And then... Interesting. Looking at this, I thought there was like more of a path. Look like... There was a time when I was sitting here saying California is going to split in half and half of it's going to move out to the ocean, because it looked like there was a line coming in here of waterways, but that's kind of gone now. I see this, but then I don't recall like this thing here, and I'm not seeing... I guess it's in here where I was looking, but there doesn't seem to be that much water through here now. This is interesting because it's all blurred out. Like, why? Is there some secret thing in there, I wonder? I feel like maybe, So now there's not like a clear spot where it looks like it's going to split. There's some little rivers in here, but... So maybe we left the timeline where California is going to split in half, and half of it is going to migrate out to sea. Can't use the water for farming, too salty. So the storyline for Salton Sea, I've said this before, has changed. Originally, for me, the story was that Salton Sea was unnatural and was formed by a break in a large water saving, like there was an earthen dam with a bunch of saved water for irrigation, and it popped, and then all the water flooded out and created Salton Sea, and they weren't going to save the Salton Sea because it's unnatural. The current storyline is that there was already a Salton Sea, and when that water area popped, it just made it larger than it was before, but it is completely natural, and now it should be saved because it is natural water body. And I think it's gotten, I don't know if it's gotten more or less salty, but it looks like just basically that it's there's more water in that area is my feeling. And as you said, though, you couldn't use it for irrigation because it was too salty. And that's why around it there was no farmland. But now I guess there's just enough rivers and stuff to support it. I mean, this wasn't all here before. There wasn't Gulf of California coming in this high. It's still kind of weird, though, because this is salty, so you couldn't use that water. But there must just be more water coming through here in general, which is kind of the pattern we do see. Oops, I don't know why I closed that. Almost at the end. The Bay to the Salton Sea to Baja. Yeah, you know, this isn't my California cities aren't in the same place. The coast was less jagged. I know. I feel like there's still been even more bite taken out over here. Like you've got this weird jutted out area here. When did that show up? It's sort of like the one over here I was moaning about, which is this one. Like, when did that show up? So now we have one over here. I absolutely agree with you. It wasn't that jaggedy. This, what the heck, people? I guess it's good for the ports and stuff, but San Diego port is like massive now. It wasn't even half that size before. All this wasn't here. This, I see this grew a couple of docks on it lately. It's crazy town. Oh, this, I mean, this is, that, I don't think that was even there last time I saw it. But, I mean, Coronado was an island back then, so I really should drive down here and just check this out. It'd be kind of creepy knowing that it didn't exist before. Like, these docks weren't on here before. This is crazy. When this first showed up, it was this skinny little thing. Oh. This area here is also crazy because that was not like this at all. So some people I know are starting to meet up in here, and the first time I went, I was like, what is this mess in here? I'm driving, I'm utterly confused. There's water freaking everywhere, roads going over the water. I'm like, where even am I? I was in here. Yeah, that was it. So I come in here and I'm going through all here and I'm like, what is this crap? I mean, what is even this? Mission Bay. I don't even know what this island is. Vacation Isle? What? No, there was only Fiesta. That was it. There was no Vacation Isle in here. That they squeezed that one in. It's just insanity to me. It's insanity. Vacation Isle. I should go check this out. I don't even know what's in here. Vacation Road. All right, well, it's 2 o'clock already. The whole states are, yeah, I totally agree with that. Although a lot of the changes happened for me probably even back in the 90s, because I remember looking at the map, and like every now and then I'd look at the states. I'm like, I thought that state was here, and I was constantly confused. Like, why can't I remember even what states are on the West Coast? And now I think I know why, because I thought I knew, and then I would look at the map. I'm like, and that happened so many times. Penguins can get divorced now, huh? I thought it was like when one of them dies, that's the divorce. Oh my gosh. Look at the location of the Great Salt Lake. Definitely looks like a different shape now. It's it's all, what's all that? It's busy in here. It was sort of like an ordinary shape the last time I looked at it. This is, I can't swear that it's moved that much for me, because I just wasn't really sure. I mean, I just knew it was in, wait. Is it Salt Lake City in Nevada? Salt Lake City's not in Nevada, it's in Utah. Oh, I have this strong memory of Salt Lake City, Nevada. That actually is kind of confusing to me. Huh, Salt Lake City, Nevada. Huh. Alright, I don't know why that, when I say Salt Lake City, I want to say Nevada. I don't want to say Utah. And that is confusing, though, because Nevada is a gambling state and Salt Lake City is kind of the opposite. But I don't know. I don't know on that one. Utah is where Colorado is now, and Colorado is up there under Canada. Yeah. Colorado. I remember, let's see, Idaho, Nevada. I do remember Colorado up here, and I thought Montana was lower. Wyoming and Utah, I do remember kind of in the middle. The heck? I thought the Dakotas were lower also. So what was at the top? Washington, I thought, was over here. And Oregon. Oregon, like here, and Washington, like over here. They weren't on top of California originally. I'm quite sure of that. Especially not Oregon. And the last clear memory I have was Washington had a finger over here, but it was mostly over here. But there was like a finger of it, and then the whole rest was California, because that was when we were going to make a road trip. My parents were making a road trip to Canada, and I was mapping it for them, and that's how it was. And even then, I do remember going, Washington is above California, but it was just a finger. But even then, I was like, I don't remember that. Okay, so they have to drive through Washington. It was just, Mormon land. Area 51 was in New Mexico. That does sound right. Where is it now? I'm afraid to ask. So the last time I was in Salt Lake City, I'm not even sure if I knew what state it was. It was just a stop at Salt Lake City on the plane, so who cares? You just get off and then you hang out for 4 hours and get back on. So even then, I can't swear. I do remember looking down at the lake, and it didn't look like that. And it didn't look like that even like 1 year ago. Kansas is flat. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be cool to visit. Maybe it'd be a little boring if that was all that was going on, but... Okay, well, it is time for me to shove on off because we are at 2 hours. And I'm done with my saved up Mandelas, I think. Actually, I have some, but I'll just do those next week. I have some from Bill, and I keep forgetting to put them on. What I need to do is put them up on these tabs, and that would do it. But, oh well, we're done for today. Thank you, everybody. You came up with a lot of really good Mandelas for me this week, so I appreciate that. Think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.